And we're live. Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. As always, I'm your host, Steven, and today we're getting into some Doc Swinson's whiskey. Some of the new exploratory casks of Doc Swinson's. To start off today, I'm going to be drinking this Prime Barrel pick. This is, let me see, 22025 to 114 proof Doc Swinson's bourbon. I haven't had this one a lot, unfortunately, but I'm excited to get into it tonight because, we're getting into some fun exploratory Doc Swinson's whiskey. So I thought it would be good to, kind of prime the engines, get ready for today's live stream with, another Doc Swinson's bourbon. Sorry I'm a little late again today as well. Things have been a little, last minute today. Barely got in on time, but I'm excited to get into this a little bit more. We have 4 really, really fun, different kinds of finishes to get into today. Which, by the way, let me know any sort of audio issues. What are we drinking tonight? Things of that nature. It's always easiest to get kind of ahead of those before, we get super, super deep into today's live stream. Let's see here. Oh, man, I am all messed up. There we go. Ooh, that is just really, really good MGP bourbon. Really well-rounded. Nice citrus explosion towards the end. Overall, man, oh man. That one did really, really well in my last year's blind because I got it right at the end of last year when I did the, best whiskeys of 2023. And that was like a very unforeseen killer hitter because that was just honestly some random pick I added to my cart because I like Doc Swinson's and I needed 3 bottles to get free shipping. So I added it and it turned out to be phenomenal. I haven't really touched it much either because it was a little on the expensive side, like 70, 75, maybe 80 if my memory serves correct. But man, oh man, that is super freaking good. Worth the money. 100% worth the money. Having a Doc Swinson's Alter Ego Cash Strength Beyond Good. Yeah, that is one of the few that I still need to get my hands on. I love the normal Alter Ego. My only kind of argument is the fact that it is a little bit expensive for the price proof, whatever variants. It's a little on the, it's a little expensive side. That being said, it's still really freaking good. And I know the cash strength is only like $15 more, so I can't imagine the cash strength isn't just a blowout. Way worth it, 100%, or at least I'm assuming that. Again, still something I need to actually buy. I'm probably actually going to buy one of those with maybe a few of these bottles I try after I try some samples today. Maybe. We'll see what happens. As a control, though, overall, man, that is a really good control. So today we are getting into 4 different samples of we'll call them the Exploratory Cask finishing series or whatever you want to call it from Doc Swinson's. I have one that is a tawny port. I don't know if they have the names on these. Exploratory Cask Straight Bourbon Whiskey Finish in Tawny Port 220010. It is 114 proof and it's port finished bourbon. So we have that one. We have the Lamante, Lamente, Lamante, maybe more or less, plus or minus, something or other. This is a straight bourbon finished in Oloroso Sherry Cask 21-001, and it is 114 proof, 57%, which I'm really excited about this one. This is by far one of the ones are, I mean, I'm excited for all these. I'm excited for today's live stream. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm a huge Doc Swinson's fanboy. They sent me these samples. So, if they're watching, thank you guys so much for sending me these. But again, that is in no way, shape, or form going to change my views, opinions, so on and so forth. This is just, something I'm still excited about because I think they do really, really good. There's a lot of people in the game of blending and finishing and so on and so forth, but I think they're one of the better people doing it nowadays, at least in my area of what I can get. But this is a finish, the one I'm most next to guys that are finished in some weird stuff that I've never had things finished in, or at least not combined together. So I'm excited to see this. So this one is the Tres Amigos Exploratory Cask, straight rye whiskey finished in rum and tequila casks at 101.9 proof. And then the last one is going to be the Smoke on Water. So this is a rye whiskey finished in peated Scotch casks, and it is 103.8 proof. So super excited for both of those as well. Peter White, I can get a few more different cask strength finishes, but I like this so much I don't see the need. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if you're going to find one you really, really like and you just send it on that one, there's no shame or no arguments, or, there's nothing against that. If you know what you like and you like that, then I say freaking send it with that, because that's all you need. All you need. All you need is love. Love is all you need. Okay, so the first two, so the bourbons, oh man, I'm in a weird thought process with this. So I might need your guys' buy-in here, but do I go... So we got basically two finished bourbons that are like cask strength 114 proof, and then we have two ryes that are at like a little over 100 proof. So usually I go bourbon and then rye because I think sweeter and then spicier works out a little bit better. But in this case, the proof change, I don't really want to go low proof, or I don't want to go high proof to low proof. So should I do the ryes, which are low proof first, or the bourbons? And also one of the ryes is finished in peated stuff. So, how should I attack this SOB? Pull this up over. All right, I'm gonna just have to pull the trigger on my own. A lot 40 cask strength peated finished rye, but never opened it because nobody liked it. Yeah, well, it's finished in peated Scotch. So yeah, I'm trying to break my freaking lens. Yeah, that's also another thing. So yeah, I think I'll go bourbons and ryes. I'll just kind of follow my gut on this one. And Peter, thank you. Got bourbon runner in the house. Rye then bourbon, savory then sweet. Now you're making me second guess things. That bourbon is really good. I don't know if they still have this on the Prime Barrel, but it's like one of those websites like Sealbox and so on and so forth. This is what is this? 11/2016 to 8/2022. So that would be a little over, or not a little less than 6 years. Yeah, 3 months less than 6 years. So 5 years and 9 months, in theory at least. And then, not in theory, that's simple math. I'm an idiot. But so a 5 and 9 month old MGP Doc Swinson's pick, or I think this is MGP. Does it say? So 21% rye, 75% corn, 4% malted barley. Because I know they do source from different places. Hand selected for character, whatever. It's a 114 proof Doc Swinson's pick. That is just ridiculously good. This This might be just as good as everything else we got in here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna follow my gut and what Peter said, and I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go the bourbons first. I do need to adjust this because this is my OCD taking control a little bit. There we go. Felt too blown out there. Okay, so let's get down to business. Let's try some whiskey. So first one I'm going to go with is going to be the Tawny Port finish one, which these are sealed with like legit wax. So hope this isn't a pain in the butt to open up. Oh, sweet. Easy peasy lemon McSqueezies. And I don't know the specific price on all of these. That being said, I have looked online. Actually, maybe I should actually, do something and bear with me, guys. I got a keyboard because of this. Doc Swinson's. Yes, I am 21. Buy now. Yes, I'm still 21. Okay. Ooh, actually, they have a pretty solid sale on. If you want the alter ego, it just looks like the cask strength one, the rye and the blender's cut. Right now, there's a really good sale. Actually, there's a really good sale on everything right now. Hardcore, you should go buy some of this stuff if you're interested in buying any of it, because right now everything I'm going to talk about today you can buy for $66.99 USD on their website, because everything is usually $85. Right now it's a little bit on the cheaper side. So if you're interested, again, they're not paying me for any of this, that as you will, but I'm probably going to go buy some of these afterwards if they're any good, which again, I'm a Doc Swinson's fanboy. So, first one on the docket. We got the Doc Swinson's Tawny Port straight bourbon whiskey finished in Tawny Port cask at 114.9 proof. So port finish bourbon. Ooh, man. Sometimes I really love port finish bourbons, and other times I just don't love it. Right now, though, I'm kind of liking it. It does have a little bit of like a weird kind of sour, not sour, but maybe waxy characteristic. There's this bright red fruit waxiness over everything. I don't know. So port always seems to just be this like consuming flavor or this consuming profile that kind of takes over everything. So again, sometimes I love it, sometimes I'm not really in love with it, but in this case, I'm loving this. Super sweet, has a nice little bit of cinnamon in there as well. This bright, explosive red fruit characteristic too. Man. Has this like pepperiness to it as well. By the way, Sugar Kitty, cheers. Nice to see you. If I haven't said cheers yet. What time? That's fair. Port with rye. Yeah, I can see that. I don't mind port with the like malts and stuff too, but I just feel like bourbon, it kind of everything just gets kind of watered out or kind of blended out and just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't add as much as it does with other ones. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But yeah, this is like cherries, a little bit of like a almost like a strawberry, like a little waxy strawberry. One of those little like strawberry hard candies. And there's a nice like graham cracker vanilla note. A little bit of almost like a stale peanut as well. Smells really, really nice though. Like here, you know my opinions on this other bourbon. My control. Ooh, this has some dark notes that that one doesn't have. Yeah, this is like if you like that red fruit, almost grapey characteristic, because it does almost get to like a very grapey type flavor profile. It's like cherries and grape, like cherry wine or something. Cheers, Four Leaf. Nice to see ya. Cheers, Shredward. Nice to see you as well. Ooh. Yeah, that is good. Yeah, this is like a literal fruit explosion. Cherry Boone Farm. Cherry Boone's Farm. Boone's Farm. Is that a whiskey brand, Sugar Kitty? So right now, for those of you who aren't tracking, I am drinking the Doc Swinson's Tawny Port Finish Bourbon. Yeah, this is like a fruity cherry explosion. It's like Hawaiian punch almost. Even not Hawaiian punch. Might be a little bit too tropical. Mm. Yeah, that's really good. Like if you like a red wine finish whiskey, that is right down the line. Actually, I'm going to do something a little offhanded that I didn't plan on doing, but I kind of want to compare things now. Nope, wrong. There we go. Grabbed a blue spot back up today, 110 Canadian, 80 US. Ooh, Peter. That's a great freaking deal. I would buy all of the blue spot for $80. Hey, Bruno. Love you too, buddy. I used to drink Boone's Farm when I was 15. That's fruit juice with extra sweet wine from New York State. Okay, yeah, that sounds horrible. I cannot do like sweet wine coolers, Four Locos, things of that nature. I did Four Locals one time. I puked the whole night. It was horrible. Given that was like very early on when, anytime you drink, you puke, but still not a good look. Predecessor of wine coolers. Those are gross. I always thought it was malt liquor. Wasn't that kind of what like I don't know. I don't know much of anything about anything other than whiskey. Fuzzy Navel was my jam. Aren't those like peach drinks? Fuzzy Navels? So I want to compare this. Oh, thank God I was able to open this. This Doc Swinson's port finished to this gem of an MGP port finished whiskey, the Port Night Rises from Storytime, because this is like the pinnacle of port finished whiskey. So oh, ooh, yeah, that's good. I'm not gonna lie, that the Port Night Rises gets a little bit more on the kind of like waxy port side than this does. Like, I do like the flavor profile of that better, but it also has that waxy part that I don't like as much. I would say they're close. They're just it's very somehow same, but different, but still same. This one, it's a little bit more or a lot a bit more on the port side, where this Doc Swinson's comparatively seems very muted. I don't know. Port used to be my favorite finishing, and nowadays it's just not my jam. Not as much. It's a product of Gallo Wines from their New York vineyards. I grew up upstate in the heck of the wood, in the neck of, why did I read heck? What is wrong with me? In the neck of the woods, there used to be a ton of Boone's bottles found around the high schools up there. Okay, so yeah, it's a wine cooler then. Roy. By the way, what's everyone drinking tonight? I know Peter White told me, but what's everyone else drinking? Hopefully not some wine coolers. Hopefully some real whiskey. Drinking some Murray Hill Club. This is just Barton juice. Tastes like 1792 single barrel. Well, that's a very overpriced 1792 single barrel then, but I do like 1792 single barrel, so still a half decent bottle. It's just you could get those for like 35, 40 bucks here, where I think Murray Hill Club is like at least like 190 bucks or something like that. Well, thank you, Shredward. I will not be buying that bottle then, because that was one of the next MGP bottles I planned on buying, obviously after I buy likely some Doc Swinson stuff. So this next one we are going to get into is going to be the one I'm most excited for. The La Monte, the straight bourbon whiskey finished in Oloroso sherry casks, which is my absolute favorite for Finnish whiskey nowadays, which, I mean, so everyone, let me know in the comments down below or chat, so on and so forth, what is your favorite kind of finished, if you like finished whiskey? Because I know some people are like they're what's a good way to say it? Not minimalist, but very traditionalist, I guess we'll call it, where they're like, hey, we just age the whiskey and that's it. We don't finish it. We don't do shit. Like, this is the way, straight up. That's all. We don't take our helmets off, so on and so forth. You get the gist. But if you're not one of those kinds of people, which, more power to you if you're that kind of person and that's what you like, no shame here. But if you do like finished whiskey, what is your favorite or some of your favorite go-to type of finishings? Bardstown Discovery 9. I still have yet to try a lot of the discoveries. I had a sample of one and that was like literally it. Murray Hill Club is more like 100 and yeah. Cheers, Bad Axe. Nice to see you. The Doc Alter Ego Cash Strength going down a little too easy. That's always the worst when you're messing with cash strength, especially early on in the day, because it's only 5 o'clock here. So like you don't really like to drink cash strengths, but when they're really good, like a lot of these Doc Swinson stuff or a lot of the blended MGP from like Story Time and so on and so forth, like it's just too easy to drink. Cash strength stuff that's like on the lower end of cash strength, it's just too easy to drink 110, 115 proof stuff. And then you get shithoused at like an hour and a half later and you're like, well, there's my night. I'm drunk. Hey, Hangin', nice to see ya. Magnus supposedly sourced a lot from MGP, not Barton. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's not impossible to kind of match a flavor profile, especially when you're kind of aging in a similar environment, i.e. Kentucky or Indiana. I feel like it's very same, but different, but still same. But I feel like a good blender could match anything. Maybe just double oak type stuff. Not big on finishes. I like bourbon flavor. Yeah, and that's fair. Bobby. All right. Let's get into the La Monte. Ooh. This one's even more grapey. This is grapey. Oh yeah. This one's nice. Yeah, it doesn't have that waxy kind of port-esque finish. It's man, sherry finish is the best. It's just the greatest. I can enjoy this nose for a bit. It is grapes, raisins, little bit of a peanut nuttiness, a nice like cherry hard candy, a little bit of like a cinnamon and like almost like a pepperiness, and a lot of caramel. This is like sweet grape juice with cherry hard candies. This is like you took all like a tub of Jolly Ranchers and you threw away all the dumb colors and dumb flavors, the blues, the greens, and you just kept the reds, like the cherries, and the purple ones, and you maybe like tripled the purple ones compared. So do like a 3-to-1 ratio, purple Jolly Ranchers to red Jolly Ranchers. That's like the candy mixture on this SOB. And then you add a little bit of like an oak and cinnamon, a little bit of nuttiness, and a little bit more of a traditional sweetness, like a caramel or a vanilla, rather than like just like pure hard synthesized sugars. Jeez Louise, that was hard. Man, that's good. Hard to say. Have a lot of finished single malts. To me, good whiskey always works no matter what. That is very fair. I know, me personally, I'm finding a trend of a lot of the finished whiskeys I like are sherry finished. Cheers, Tipsy, everyone. Cheers, David Bass. Nice to see you. Do you separate and recolorize M&Ms too? I used to as a kid. I was like kind of like the OCD. I don't do this so much anymore, mostly because I got just better stuff to do. But like I would organize like Skittles and stuff according to the colors. There was a time in my life where I would separate everything on my plate, and if anything like ran together, I'd lose it. I'm one of those weirdos. Not lose it, but I want to enjoy things running together. Yeah, this one is just top dog right now. This is really good. Please tell me this is still on their website. Let me verify. Moscatel. Oh man, is it gone? I'm gonna lose my mind. Tres Amigos. Oh, sweet. It's still there. La Monte, $66. 110% worth that money. This is super grapey on the palate. Like the front of the tongue, the tip of the tongue is like this huge grape explosion. Smarties was the one for that. Do you eat the red ones last? I was never a huge Smarties fan. Smarties are kind of like tart. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of like the sour and tart type candies. That cinnamon kicks up too. It's like a grapey cinnamon spice oak. Man, that is nice. It is like a grape jelly smeared on toast with a little bit of cinnamon, but like a really bougie, fancy grape jelly. And that's purple. Benriach 20 Benriach. I know I butchered that, Peter. I do apologize. This is the way. Moscatel Mouse Cartel or Cavalon Mouse Cartel will blow your mind. Well, Cavalon is one of the next bottles that's like foreign whiskey that's on my list. So that might be the go-to then. That might just be the one. Give your balls the cowboy hanging. The closet I get to separate candles is throwing out all the raisins in from low budget trail mix. Oh, why did I read the closet? What is, man, I cannot, I feel like I might be intoxicated already or something because, dear Lord, the closest I get to separating candies, not candles. What is wrong with me, guys? I do apologize. The closest I get to separating whiskey guys, I apologize. The closest I get to separating candies is throwing out all the raisins in a low budget trail mix. I feel like trail mixes, they always have too much of like the crappy stuff. Or like if you ever get those like kind of like spicy trail mixes and they add the little wasabi piece, who likes the taste of wasabi? Every time I do like, what is that, sushi, I always throw away the wasabi. I will sometimes do the ginger because it's just kind of fun and playful. And who doesn't like ginger? But like the wasabi is just garbage. Like who actually legitimately likes wasabi and doesn't drink or eat it as kind of like a gag or whatever, like kind of like a meme. It's like a meme paste. Everyone's like, oh, you won't eat the whole daub of wasabi. It's like, that's all it's good for. That's all it's good for. And I stand by that. Smarties was pure Cadbury chocolate with a candy coating. I thought it was just like the little chalky tablets. Like they look like Alka-Seltzer tablets. Or am I thinking of a different kind of thing? I don't know. Does Canada have different versions of Smarties? Purple, so Barney whiskey. Yes. Yes, if Barney tasted really good. Take that how you will. Whiskey can make words hard. Hanging, I'm dyslexic as hell. So when I start drinking, sometimes shit just happens. It'd be like that. Hot and sweet trail mix. I can get behind that. Hot and sweet, or like salty and spicy, or sweet and salty. Cavalon Mouse Cartel has a big price tag. Yeah, I'm probably not going to buy that then. Not cheap, but it's Cav. Try Vinho Barik Cavalon. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I take every like whiskey that's outside of the United States, like Scotch. So it's like you're probably going to be paying like $80-$90 for it to be like a good bottle. But I don't know if I'm willing to pay much more than like that. I don't know. When things get to 3 digits on the price tag, like I'm so much more comfortable buying something for $99 than $100. $100, that's too much. Wasabi peas are addictive. Sugar Kitty, Chief, we disagree. I think they're horrible. Hanging, I love you, man, but no. Okay. Sweet tarts. Smarty, sweet tarts. Maybe I'm thinking of sweet tarts. I don't know. Again, I didn't eat that much candy as a kid, unfortunately. I mean, or probably fortunately now that I'm older in life. So I don't really know all these. I know like the traditional ones like M&Ms. Oh man, the M&Ms with like peanut butter inside of them, so good. So freaking good. Like the peanuts, yeah, they're like crunchy. It's kind of like, it's okay. But the peanut butter is so good. They're like fancy Reese's peanut butter cups, or like the Reese's Pieces. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Those are good. We're sugar candies and a little roll in the US. Okay. Yeah. They're the little like cigarette looking ones. Or like, yeah, they're little skinny ones with little wrappers, and like you just kind of eat them all at once because you're, a kid and you like all the sugar. Okay, yeah, sweet tarts. Those are the ones I was talking about. Yeah, so Smarties are kind of like they're chalky. Sweet tarts are the ones that are super tart that I hate. Smarties are okay. We're like molecules away from Pez. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they're all just like it's all just like basically like pill pressed high refined sugar that you just send it with like diabetes, baby. We are well on our way there. Smarties are little halos of heaven. So my wife is a teacher, and I feel like Smarties are like the go-to for, giving kids as a teacher too, for like maybe not Halloween, but I feel like we've bought a huge bag of Smarties so she could give to the class. Again, I just don't eat them, so I don't know. Not that I wasn't kind of eyeballing them. I'm the worst kind of person, so I don't eat any of that stuff because when I do have that stuff, I have no self-control. That's why I try not to buy chips or candies or anything of that nature because I will eat it. The only reason I don't have a drinking problem is actually I don't know how I don't because I kind of work in the same room, so I kind of see whiskey all the time. I don't know how I don't have a drinking problem, or maybe I do. You tell me if you think I do, because I probably wouldn't want to admit that. But like, I have zero self control. So when it comes to like candies, cookies, chips, so on and so forth, I will eat all of them. So like, I just don't even touch any of them. I don't buy them at the store, walk right past them and be like, I don't see shit. I don't see anything. I'm just moving forward. We're just going on with it. Like, it's just too much. Or I will eat all of them. In town, they test new M&M flavors on us, giving some of their, ooh, yeah, you see, another thing. I would be like, I don't see your tent. I don't see your tent because I know if I get into the tent, I'm gonna be like, hey, we should stop by a Circle K on the way home and buy some M&Ms because those M&Ms at the tent were really freaking good. Oh, Fun Dip, dude. Oh, that was horrible. Who liked Fun Dip? Like the weird thing about Fun Dip, I like the little white plastic kind of chalky stick thing. Not plastic, but like that the dipper part. I like that more than the powder on Fun Dip. Why? I don't know, but you know, the world works in mysterious ways. I believe different countries have different Smarties. That would make sense. Because I mean, maybe not so much like the US and Canada, but especially like overseas and all, like I feel like you got to change things up a little bit because Americans have different kinds of flavor profiles and other countries, so on and so forth. Like I'm excited to go to Japan because I love a lot of I go to world markets sometimes and they have like all these weird cool little candies and they're not as like addictive and super sweet. They're more kind of just fruity flavored, but they're not so sweet. That's something I really, really like that we don't see in a lot of American candies. So I'm excited to kind of see the differences, taste the difference, taste the rainbow. Smarties, or wait, shit. Kevlon, oh yeah, Peter, there's no way I'm buying that. No way I'm spending $350 to $400 on a bottle of whiskey, especially just so I can try a brand for the first time. Like, there are very few brands I would be willing to spend even $200 for a bottle of whiskey on, and it's not a brand I haven't tried before. Like it has to say like Wild Turkey, Old Forester, Doc Swinson's in this case of this like flight. It has to be something that's like a cult classic. Absolutely love this brand to me in order for me to be willing to spend probably like three triple digits, maybe 150 over. I'll say over 150 because I've done like 110s just to kind of try things before, but I've never gone over like the 150 for a brand I have no idea about. Smarties are Bing Bangs and Zoom Zooms. I'm a sugaraholic too. Yeah, it's hard to outrun that. I mean, I feel like that's why a lot of us love bourbon so much. Like bourbon is the adult version of refined sweets. I mean, it's basically just super freaking sweet alcohol. Kind of. Not super sweet, but you know what I mean. It was originally called Like M-Aid Lovin' Fun Dip. It was originally called Like Lick Ma'ade Loved Fun Dip. That's not a good name. Cheers, Whiskey Wars. Nice to see you. It's been a while, man. We need to connect soon. Feel like I haven't talked to you face to face or on one of these things in a hot minute. We need to remedy that. Smarties are different in Canada, I see, and are Nestle's chocolates, not Cadbury. Well, isn't Cadbury owned by Nestle? I know. I feel like Nestle is like the sugar god. They own everything. The stick is superior to the powder. I agree. If they just sold the sticks, I'd buy them. Yeah, dude, the sticks were so good. And cheers to all you. Cheers to you, Sean. Nice to see you. Eric Isaacson, cheers. Nice to see you, man. I would not buy the Cav Mouse Cartel. And guys, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. Just live with it. But any Solus bottles will cost serious money. Peter, if I were to buy a Kavalan whiskey, which one would you suggest if you've had any of their stuff before? You know my flavor profile. You know I'm a huge, as far as like Scotch or Scotch-esque type styles go, I'm a huge sherry finish guy. I also do not have a problem with bourbon finish, Scotch or malts, whatever you want to call it, because, well, obviously I'm a bourbon guy and I also like malt. So which one do you think I should try first? Or which one should I just try in general? Because I doubt I'm going to buy multiples. Fun Dip was Kid Crack, and then they come out with Nerds. Yeah, Nerds are... I feel like Nerds is kind of a problem, though. Again, this is from someone who has no self-control, but I feel like every time I open up, especially like one of those like mini little Halloween packs, the little tiny boxes, those are gone within like 2 seconds. I open up and I go, and it's done. It's like a shot of sugar. They're so good, though. Indeed, man. Oh, yeah. Drunk trivia. Yeah, that would be fun. Or conspiracy theories. I feel like we should connect on, obviously offline, but we should come together and like you should come on and do some sort of like drunken conspiracy theories. But like find some sort of conspiracy that I disagree with, but you agree with, and try to convince me of it. I would love to drunkenly listen to that. But like we all have to be at least like 4 drinks deep, so we're actually drunk. Them's the rules. I'm just gonna, drink some Z-Biotics beforehand because I got work the next day. The regular King Car Sherry is mediocre at best. And that's from the Cavalon? Well, maybe I won't be giving Cavalon a try. But what I will say, this Lamonte, given this is from a guy who loves Doc Swinson's and loves sherry finished whiskeys in general, but this stuff, really freaking good. Well worth it's currently like $66 on their website. Well worth that. Yeah, that's my favorite one of the night. That's good. I like that. Okay, next one, Tres Amigos. Now we're getting weird, and I'm excited for this because I like weird. Which, by the way, who here is into knives? It's like I'm in pew pews and stuff, but also maybe not knives, but I feel like I need a new knife because this knife is getting a little rough. So if you have any good knife suggestions, I love the style of this knife, but I feel like I need a better version of it. Also, if anyone's really good at like barbecuing, I just bought a offset smoker, like a cheaper offset smoker, which I realize is kind of a mistake in a way. I bought it cheaper because that's all I could really afford, but I'm going to start getting into smoking stuff. I'm going to try this weekend to smoke something. So if you're also really good at that, hit me up offline. My email's down below. I might need some sort of suggestions or something, because if not, I'm just going to start YouTubing things. But if someone knows how to, smoke things in an offset smoker, or what I should try for my first type, let me know, because I did I mesquite smoked some sort of like beef brisket. I didn't really do too much research. I just kind of winged it. I was like, I know roughly how an offset smoker works. And it worked out decent. I'm inviting some family over for Sunday, and I don't want to do decent. I want to do I want to impress my family a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I want to impress some people. So if somebody knows some, you know, tips, tricks, and other stuff, let me know. Ooh, what the heck is that? Just YouTube it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. It's more complicated. Yeah, it was a lot harder to keep the fire lit than I anticipated, because I used to be a little bit of a pyro as a kid, but you know, apparently it became harder, or maybe I just started drinking more. So it's like, the whiskey's a little distractive. Start with a pork shoulder, much easier. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking probably like sausages for next one. I sent some sherry bombs to another channel, and it may have been a mistake. They were high-end cash-strength sherry bombs of 4 different countries. Anyone who likes sherried malts would love them. Yeah, I would probably love those. Peter. Wait, how are you sending things to different people? With the whole fact you're in, Canada. I'm not gonna lie, 100% space where you're located. I was like, I know this. It's north, the great north. But yeah, you're in Canada. How are you hand delivering packages? You drove all the way from Canada? I'm impressed, buddy. There's a fine balance between keeping the fire smoking and getting your temps too hot. Yeah, that's what I learned, because I didn't want to make things too smoky and get it super ashy. So I don't think I kept enough because I did a blend of charcoal live coals and some actual wood, which I do apologize, guys, we're getting a little off whiskey topic, but trust me, I'm gonna start making shorts of my whiskey mixed with, because once I actually learn how to smoke things, I'm brining everything in whiskey. It's gonna become a whole new thing. I'm going full dad mode, if we're being honest. Just got married, don't have any kids yet, but I bought a smoker. I'm already a huge whiskey nerd. We're going full dad mode without a kid to prepare for when I evidently will have kids. The true north, strong and free. Peter, we're not going to talk about that comment, but that's fair. I mean, yeah, I'm just not going to click on that, out you. Smoke port butt, hard to go wrong, I'm assuming. Just takes a bit and wrap it in tin foil for 3, 2, 1 baby back ribs. Okay, I'll have to look on that. Yeah, the whole 3, 2, 1 method. I'm not quite sure exactly what that means, but YouTube it. I'm gonna YouTube it. That's how I learned everything. Son of a bee. I know I suspected something. Wrapped in apple juice. And I send with Canada and don't have to say what I am sending. Oh, really? In the United States, you have to add a description to the package. Or maybe you don't have to, but I feel like they always ask me every time I go. It's always glassware, because I send Glens, obviously, and that's all I send. But yeah, congrats on it. Thank you. Okay, sorry, we've been away from the whiskey for too long. So this is a straight rye whiskey finished in rum and tequila casks. So The first bottle I broke in this beautiful, beautiful studio when I moved in. So on the move, the first bottle we broke, and like the second bottle I've broke since we started the channel, because I'm on tile floors here. So that's why anytime I break anything, or actually, no, it would have been the fourth bottle because Bruno broke 2 of those bottles for that live stream, bringing up some PTSD there. But the first bottle I broke was the not alter ego. It was the oh man, I'm gonna look this up. Okay, no, it's the alter ego Solera rye, which is a Solera aged Solera aged method rum finished rye, which is really good. It's like this nice sweet and spicy blend. It's like a $40 95-ish proof rye whiskey. Pretty solid. No complaints there. No complaints whatsoever. And I'm sad I kind of broke it here because I could go for another one of those. Maybe I'll buy another one. But yeah, so this kind of, it's like that, but with tequila finish. So I'm a little excited. Only UPS requires a description. USPS asks a set of questions. If it's liquid, perishable. Okay. Yeah, I do ship UPS, so that makes sense. 8 minutes to pour 30. What am I gonna drink tonight? Hanging, do you got any Doc Swinson stuff? Because that's a theme, that's a vibe. You got to drink some Doc Swinsons. Okay, Tres Amigos. Cheers, y'all. Not that I'm drinking and I'm smelling it, but ooh, has a nice like dilly peppery note. Lots of sweetness, but it's like powdered sugar sweetness. The pepper strong. I'm picking up like almost no tequila-ness. Maybe like a little bit of a vegetaliness, a veggie-tail note, but earthy note, I guess maybe would be a better way to say it. When on a touch screen, I press. Yeah, you never read the description. You just scroll all the way down to the bottom. You click agree, and you're done. Call it a day. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. That dilly mintiness, very sweet. I'll be honest, I'm getting almost no traces of like a tequila finish type product though. Every time I've ever had like a tequila finish whiskey, it's always stand out of like this vegetal earthy note. This is maybe a tidbit on the earthy side compared to my average whiskeys, but like not horribly vegetal or anything like that. Like it is, the tequila sides of these are very muted, I guess. Like I'm getting almost no tequila-esque flavors. Peter, I'm too cheap to send by air, so nobody cares. Yeah, that's true. I send everything by land too. There's no need to ever rush anything. Lone Elm, Texas whiskey. Hang on, let me know if that's any good. I've never actually had any Lone Elm. Also, where did you get that here? If you didn't like, you know, order it online. Because if you can get it, I could probably get it. I don't like ordering things online because I hate paying for shipping. Yeah, Peter, that's how I always am. But not gonna lie, this is a solid rye whiskey that's finished in rum and tequila. Like I'm getting almost no tequila. I'm sure the tequila is adding something, but I'm getting nothing that's like standoutish of like I would guess that is tequila that's causing those flavors. It is spicy, sweet, little bit of earthiness. It's honestly really well like balanced. It's not too spicy, not too dilly, it's not too sweet, it's not too earthy, it's not too savory, so on and so forth. This is a really solid blend. I would really honestly say that this is balanced, and it's 101.9 proof. Yeah, I've never had a rye whiskey and said that rye is balanced. This is a balanced rye whiskey. Has a sweetness, has a spiciness, has a savory side. I'm impressed with that bottle, actually. Like, I don't love it. It's a little underwhelming because I kind of like in my rise for things to be a little bit explosive out there and so on and so forth, where that's a little underwhelming because it is balanced. But I'm impressed with how good that is. And the fact that it's actually good and it's tequila finish, because again, tequila finish, I'm always a pass on, just like Peter is. I got a sample of VM Kilko, sample VM via Kilko. Have not seen. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because that's one of those. You know me, I'm a huge Texas whiskey kind of guy. So if there's a Texas whiskey I haven't had that's in the valley, you know I'm coming after it. Just looking locally, see Doc Swinson's Pinot de Chartreuse, Tres Amigos, Oloroso. Is there one anyone would recommend? The Oloroso. So, do you mean like the Lamonte? So, right now I just tried the Lamonte, which is the Oloroso sherry finished. I don't know why that was hard to say, but the Oloroso sherry finished exploratory cask, as well as a Tres Amigos. The Tres Amigos is a really well balanced rye whiskey, and then the Lamonte is really freaking good if you like sherry finished bourbons, because it is down home plate with all of that. Also, the Alter Ego, if you can get that, that is just, man, Alter Ego is really good. Ooh, hanging. Sorry to hear that, man. That freaking sucks. Yep, hit that like button. Hit that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe. If you're rewatching this, leave a comment, support, go watch other videos. I don't really care. Support me. I appreciate your guys' support. Seriously, goes a heck of a long way. Like, really, really far. I didn't expect I would still be doing this whole YouTube thing, but it's been a great community thing, and now I can't imagine my life without this community, even if I don't spend too much time on other people's channels, which I'm gonna start working on, because I really got to start hanging out with y'all more, because I miss that. Life just got really crazy there for a bit. Alter Ego is a good way to get into Doc Swinson and just keep it simple. That's very true. That just even the non-cash range one is really, really good. That, or the Blender's Cut, if you just want I'll call it like a basic blended MGP-esque bourbon. Like, man, it's just, again, like, not the most complex MGP whiskey ever, but really freaking good. I recommend Sagamore Sherry Finish more than almost any American whiskey. I can't argue with anything from Sagamore either. Doc Swinson's is like my go-to bourbon, and Sagamore is like my go-to rye. I think Sagamore they're probably the best rye blenders out there. Sagamore is nuts. They're killing it. Yeah, they are ridiculously good. Yes. Yeah, it's just so good. So good. Okay. So this last one, Smoke on the Water. This is a straight rye whiskey finished in peated Scotch quarter casks, and it is 103.8 proof. Ooh, this one has some heft to it compared to the last one. For sure, picking up a bit of peatedness. I don't know if on the nose I would go peated technically. It's more of a earthy, borderlining smoky characteristic, but that might just be because I know it's peated, so I know it should be smoky, but I would say it's more earthy than anything else. Can you do a SAG? I would assume so. I assume that all of the main distilleries have some sort of tour customer experience type thing, especially all the bigger ones, because Sagamore Spirits is not a small brand. So I feel like they 100% have to have some sort of tour or something out there. Yeah, that and seafood. That and seafood, which, not gonna lie, this smoke on the water, the most perplexing whiskey I've had ever. One of the most perplexing whiskeys I've had ever, because I can't decide if I like it or if I hate it. It's good, but it's also funky. It is weird. There is a really nice bit of spice, but then there is like this kind of like soured smoke flavor too. Yeah, there's that spice and then that peaty smoke, a little bit of almost a maltiness kind of blends over it, but it's like super earthy. So much earthiness, and then kind of finishes off into a pepperiness. It's not my specific vibe, if we're going to be completely honest, but it's not bad either. It's not bad. Again, just not my vibe. Yeah, I would say if I had to rank these, I would say the Lamonte first for sure, followed up by the Tres Amigos, just because I'm really like mind blown with how well blended and balanced that is. And then followed by the port finish one. And then last will be the smoke on water. The smoke on water is not bad. It's just a funky combination of flavors that I don't think vibe with me really well. Or I don't think like I really coincide with it. Oh, nope, I missed one. Okay, there we go. Don't count on all of them having tours. Sometimes it's more of like just going to a gift shop. Oh yeah, that's probably true. Like kind of like a museum. Be like, this is the piece of machinery we used to use. Pay $20 to come in and see our gift shop. It'd be like that, man. It would. I hate all of those like the whiskey tour experience, and then at the end it's just like some sort of commercialized BS. So of an 8-year Heaven Hill cash strength, Ardbeg cash strength finished by North Star Spirits. Bought it as a novelty years ago, but now seeing a lot of peated finish. Okay. I don't know if I can get behind peated finish stuff. I don't really vibe with this. I liked Bear Fight. Jeff sent me that, and I really like that. And that is sherry finished as well as it's finished in some peated stuff. So it has a nice mix of that whole sherry finish and then a hint of smoke in there, but it's not like overpowering. And it's also a malt, so I think it kind of flows with that. The rye, it's just such a dominant spicy grain that like smoke and spice are like two very dominating flavor profiles, and I feel like they're both like very loud and aggressive, that they kind of overpower each other in a way. So I don't really know if it vibes for me particularly. It's not bad at all. It's just it's unexpected, even knowing what is in it. 21090 is right there, and the Sanger, they've broadcasted from there. Man, they broadcasted from there during the year open house. They did talk about having a tour. Yeah, that's one of those few places I would love to go see, just because I love Sagamore Spirits, and I think they're probably one of the better brands out there nowadays, even though they do still source a ton. I don't think I've ever done a review of the Lost Dutchman Rye. I mean, I can. I have it right back there. Hanging, I feel like you should just come in, dude. Are you gonna be in Tempe on Saturday? Because I'm gonna be at the Tempe Arts Festival doing a little like tent pop-up thing for the distillery. So you can come by, check it out there, or just let me know, dude. I will literally go to the distillery with you. You can come to my house. I also have majority of their great stuff here. Not that they would charge for samples of things, but your call. I was thinking about road tripping with my two favorite allies. Holy rollin'. Man, that comes into my head way too often for a song that I completely dislike. I was thinking about to get a High West Burr Rye. I heard it was extremely overpriced for what it is, but I would still also buy the heck out of it if I had a chance to. I just don't know if I would road trip to Utah, because I don't really know what's in Utah for me other than High West. Like if I was in Utah and I happened upon past High West, I would 100% go there. I would make it a point, but I don't usually, like, the only trip I want to take to go to distilleries is like Texas and Kentucky. Those are like the two ones I plan on doing. When I go to Japan, I know I'm going to the Yamazaki, or maybe is it Yamazaki or is it Nika? I think it's going to be I don't know. I'm going to do one of the distillery tours there. So I'm excited for that. But that's just one of those happenstance. I was in the area, so I did the tour type thing. Trust me, that the 9-year Heaven Hill would have worked without the Ardbeg finish. Yeah, that's fair also. Sometimes it's like, man, it was good just as it was. On Mill Ave. Yes. Yeah. The last time I did it, we were right in front of the Pedal House. So I'm assuming we'll be there again. I don't know. I haven't really read any of the packet, but I'll be there Saturday. Salt Lake was fantastic. Very nice. Had some work training there once. Yeah. That's one of those things, though. Yeah, Peter. You can also come over for barbecue and whiskey. I'd 100% be down for that. Or we just need to do, an easy get together. Again, it's all in the books. Hey, and if you like, tell me within the next... Oh man, that is funky as hell. Tell me within the next 30 seconds. I'm willing to do a really quick rundown review of the rye from Adventure Stills. That being said, just everyone else watching, take this as not a write-off or whatever, but like what would that be called? A disclosure. I am employed by them. I work with them. So not that they're paying me for a solid review, but I do have an implied bias with everything. That being said, I wouldn't work with them if I didn't already like their products. So hang in. Let me know within the next minute. If not, I'm shutting this SOB down. To Ben Nevis Distillery and see all the Japanese whiskey. Where is that? The Ben Nevis Distillery. 'Cause I don't know where in Japan we're going. We still gotta, rebook. Somebody was asking you about it. Hey, and you just need to try it, buy a bottle, come over, so on and so forth. But no. So here, let me wrap up the Doc Swinsons. I really like the La Monte. The Tres Amigos is really well blended. The Tawny Port, I think, is a really nice port finish. I'd put it on par, maybe a little bit lower than the Port Night Rises pick. Port Night Rises is like here. I would say the Tawny Port, it's about here. It's like close, but not quite there. But I mean, again, this is just an incredible. Everything Storytime does is like ridiculously good. But yeah, Tawny Port, and then my least favorite was just the Smoke on Water, just because I don't really vibe with the whole peated rye flavor profile. It's I don't know. It doesn't vibe with me. I don't know. Am I the only one out there who has had any sort of peated finished whiskey, specifically rye if possible? What's your thoughts on it? Ooh. Today was leg day, so it's like super cringe. Ow, ooh, ooh, ah sounds every time I fucking bend over. You heard that beep sound, right? Yeah, I didn't cuss. Every time I bend over, and oh man, every time I bend over, it's like pain. Okay, gotta go. A serious review mode, which I haven't done in a hot minute. Name the last time you've seen a review from me. I got burnt out of doing reviews. But I'm going to give it a shot for you hanging. And that's pretty much about it. I mean, I could give you without even trying it, I can do like my whole salesman brand rep speech about it, but I'm going to try to do some real notes. Okay, so right now we are getting into some Arizona craft whiskey per Hangen's request, because thank you for watching. I don't know, because I can. I don't know. We don't really need a real reason. Here, let me get caught up on comments before. Oh, it's in Scotland. Good to know. Yeah, Scotland's another place I would love to go. That's fair. Highest point in Scotland, like most north point. Better hear herbaceous. Yeah. Peated finished rye. Yeah, it's just funky. It's not bad. It's just weird. Finished the JD single barrel proof and some rye. JD, let me finish the JD single barrel proof and get some rye. Not a fan of peated, just me. Yeah, that's fair. By the way, JD single barrel proofs, great bottle to be drinking. No, not Northern Tallest. What, did I misread something? Sugar Kitty, highest point. Oh, okay, tallest, so most elevation. Got it. Yeah. I mean, there's like the geographical highest and then map highest, which I guess same but different, but still same. It's just how you view things. Ooh, man. So Hanging, if you've had anything from Adventurous Stills, you would know that they have this like signature flavor profile or theme to it. Everything, it's just kind of like the same thing you get with Texas. Like there's just this like signature oak to it. I get the same exact thing off of a lot of the Texas distilleries, mainly like, just to kind of throw out a few names here, I would say like Balcones has a very balconisy flavor profile to it. Same with Still Austin, although Still Austin's kind of a little like down the middle, and Iron Root as well. Like they all have this like very their own, you can tell it's their bottle just based off of trying it. Like some bottles, especially bourbon distilleries, I'm usually like, oh, I don't know what it is. It could be theirs, could be that, could be that. I just feel like a lot of the Southwest distilleries all have a very signature smell to it. And Adventurous Stills has this very signature, like flowery, spicy note to it. I always call it kind of almost like a lavender, like a sweet, spicy lavender, like a sweet, peppery lavender, at least on the rise. Maybe not lavender, maybe more like floral. I would call it floral because lavender, not this specific one, because this one has a nice like oak that kind of smooths it off, but a lot of like the younger super high cask strength stuff is kind of lavendery-ish. This is more on the floral side, kind of almost like a Four Roses type thing, but like a crafty Four Roses with like this like Southwest high age impact type smell. Man, you see, it would just be so much easier if I could be like, here, hang and try this, buddy, because I feel like you, regardless, you're not getting away with not trying this stuff. You're just putting it off at best. Most northerly Scottish is Highland Park, and it's Onki Island, north of Scottish mainland. I like Highland Park, so they do good stuff. There's also a distillery that produces a lot of single malts that find its way into Japanese blended. That makes sense. Even minor case rye sherry finishes is okay for a 2-year-old Lux Row release. Even minor case rye sherry finishes okay for okay. Oh, man, I hate when big brands like Lux Row, which is supposed to be a huge brand, releases a 2-year-old product. It's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? So this has a huge peppery note. There's this huge like oak, a little bit of a nuttiness, and this pepper. So much pepper. It's not really herbaceous per se. Like there's reminiscence of like an herbaceous type, like herbal, almost licorice type flavor profile, but it is very much so subdued by like a really loud oak as well as this like black pepperiness. But then there's also this really nice balancing caramel sweetness to it by Japanese companies. So it's Tama and Bowmore, Lafroig, etc. Okay. Well, don't like a lot of Japanese whiskey brands now own a lot of American whiskey brands too. Like, what is it? Or no, it's Beam. Isn't Beam owned by like Suntory Beam or something? Or maybe they're co-owned. I don't understand the ownership legalities or whatever, but man, this is definitely a very unique rye, but the best way I could describe it on the nose is peppery, but it's a balanced type pepperiness where it's very strong pronounced in the oak because it's like a 2 to 3-year-old Arizona aged rye whiskey. So rye usually is a little bit on the younger side compared to bourbon typically, because we'll see rye around 4 to 6 years old, where bourbon usually is around 6 to 10. But this rye, because it's aged in Arizona, it takes on the oak a lot quicker. It gets a little bit funkier oak. It's not like this super simple, nice, easy oak, but it has that strong oak impact, a really nice like peppery note as well as this like very nice balancing caramel. Beam and Suntory merged into one company, and that's how they own both Bowmore and Lefroy. Yeah, they own everything. Beam Suntory owns like a lot of stuff. That and not Lux Row. I'm thinking Lux Row because someone said it earlier, but the who owns Buffalo Trace again? Because they own every brand. They are just taking over every U.S. whiskey brand. Alberta Premium also owns Canadian Club. Canadian Club is trash whiskey. That should not exist. But yes, Sazerac. Sazerac, they own literally, I think they're probably the biggest brand out there because Buffalo Trace is huge. And Barton's also another one of the huge distilleries. Diageo owns, it's Sazerac, Diageo, and I think Beam and Suntory. Those are probably the three biggest companies or controlling interest. I know there's also Foreman, but I don't know what else Brown-Forman owns. Outside of, obviously, the three primary distilleries or Kentucky-based distilleries. Ooh. Yeah. It's honestly just a really nice, like, spicy pepperiness. On the palate, it's more herbal and floral. So it's like this herbaceous floral spice with this vanilla and a little bit of oak. The oak isn't super pronounced on the palate compared to the nose. The nose is a lot stronger. On the palate, it's about mid-length compared to like all the way. And then there's this nice brown sugary sweetness. I like that. So what's everyone's thoughts on Pernod Richard is also big, mostly in Europe. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, Bacardi's also big. Brown-Forman owns 3 Scotch distilleries and not much more. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I know they own Old Forester, Woodford, and Jack Daniels, which arguably those 3 are pretty huge in Tennessee and Kentucky. So what's your thoughts on like a really good whiskey company? So we'll take, for example, Wilderness Trail. I think we all agree Wilderness Trail is pretty solid. They just recently got bought out, and by recently I mean like 6 months ago by, I think it was Diageo. It could be 100% wrong here. Let's Google this. Wilderness Trail purchase. Oh, they got bought out by Campari. But what's your thoughts on a lot of the big brands purchasing these smaller brands of whiskeys and whatnot? Like, I don't know. I guess the best way I can say it is like, how do you guys think that? Do you think that's a positive influence or do you think it's bad? I think it has pluses and minuses, obviously, but I think overall for the brands, as long as those brands are hands off on like how they do business and whatnot, like they're like, hey, you're a solid brand. We're going to buy you. We're going to give you money so you can expand and all that jazz, but we're going to stay hands off. That's my favorite kind of, win. JD is a huge one. The others are not as big. Yeah. Old Forester's not. Jack Daniels is one of the biggest brands. Like Jack Daniels has such a cult following. People ask for Jack and Cokes. What they really mean is a whiskey or a bourbon and Coke. Like they don't really care if it's Jack Daniels, but everyone says Jack and Coke because it's just That's like it has this little cult following. Yeah, standard Jack Daniels sells a ton. Yeah. Yeah, they freaking do. I don't see anyone buy the Jack Daniels rye or anything like that. Like I don't think that's a huge hit. Especially like the single barrel rye. Man, I love that rye and no one touches it. Campari is kind of like Bacardi. Yeah, that's fair. Always gonna happen. M&As, big companies always have almost never can keep their hands off. Eventually then end up doing something. Yeah, that's true. They do end up like kind of taking over and making something happen. They might start off being like, "Oh, well, you guys are doing really good job, so keep it up. We're just gonna give you some money." But eventually, yeah, they'll probably take over. Sells about 150 million bottles a year, and it is. Let's be honest, the normal Jack Daniel's Black Label, way overpriced. Way overpriced. It should not be like $25. It should be like 20 at best. At best. I don't know. That might just be me, but I feel like Jack Daniels is overpriced. Glendronach sunk Glendo reputation by a ton. Oh, I have no idea about that, Sugar Kitty. Glendronach. I'm trying to think of their brand. I don't think I've ever seen their stuff. I probably have, but they're not one of the huge Scotch distilleries. I don't know. I mean, Brown-Forman does a really good job with their American distilleries. They're some of my favorite distilleries. Like Old Forester, there's been, Old Forester in 1920 did kind of lose a little bit of its quality. Not gonna lie. I am one of those people in the camp of Old Forester did lose quality in the last like 2 years. I wouldn't say it was with the brand label changed, because when the brand originally changed, the bottle was still okay to me. But I don't know, just recently, the bottle, since I've gone back, I'm like, it's okay. It's not the ridiculous value it used to be, in my opinion, though. But the 1910, phenomenal. The Bonded, so much better than I remember it being. And the rye, whew, man, that shit is so good. And then anything from Jack Daniels, I pretty much absolutely love. Woodford Reserve, they do some amazing stuff. I need to try Woodford's malt again. It's been a hot minute since I've gotten into that one. So I feel like I need to give the malt another try, especially now that I'm huge into American single malts. I know it's not technically an American single malt, but it is an American malt nonetheless. So I need to give that a try. Yeah, well, I think, AZ, it's a little hot, so people don't really want spicy stuff. Campari. Yeah, they were bought out by Campari. Not in the tequila world, seems to ruin them. Bourbon seems to be okay with large companies. Yeah, okay, at least I would call that. Big companies can be great. Campari influence has done wonders for the marketing of Wild Turkey. Well, are you saying Wilderness Trace or Wild Turkey? I don't know. Whenever I see WT, I always think Wild Turkey, but I think you mean Wilderness Trail. I could be wrong, though. Old Forester is a steal at 25 for a liter. Yeah, Old Forester rye is ridiculously underrated. That should be, it's also never on the shelf, so maybe it isn't underrated and like everyone just drinks it and doesn't freaking talk about it. But I feel like it's underrated. There's a huge issue with Glendronach taking non-chill filtered off their labels. BF didn't think it mattered. Sales tanked. I'll be honest, I don't think chill filtration matters. I also have never done some sort of test or experiment with multiple subject groups, because I feel like that's always the biggest thing. Is so many people will do like, hey, we're going to test if chill filtration matters, and we're going to have just two different bottles, one that's chill filtered and one that's non-chill filtered. and that doesn't really get to the point of it. So I feel like you need to have like 4 or 5 different bottles where it's like the standard version and then the chill filtered version or vice versa to kind of see if it really does make a difference. But me personally, I don't think it really makes it doesn't make a marginal difference. I would say it's adding a process. So it for sure makes a difference, but I don't think it really makes a huge difference. But honestly, it's an extra step. So I feel like not chill filtered is the way to go because everyone gets horny off of that anyways. Wild turkey, but I'm sure it will be. Yeah, I love wild turkey though, man. Wild turkey 101 is so good. Okay, cool. I know we were just talking about Wilderness Trail as well, and it kind of clicked in my head that Wilderness Trails also WT. So, you know, one selling whiskey. Really? Johnny Walker? Last time I had Johnny Walker was at my brother-in-law's wedding. We had Johnny Walker Black Label, and it was like a really bland, rough scotch. Like it, I mean, given we were drinking like total ass hats, so it did not matter one bit. But that was not like a bottle where I'm gonna put in a Glencairn and I'm gonna get like all up in the nose. I'm gonna get into the nuances of it. That was like a funky, smoky malt that I'm gonna chug like it's going out of style. The idea about chill filtration does not matter to Americans, but does in Europe is what the problem is. Yeah, it's the style. Just like even if so like say like we'll take Elijah Craig barrel proofs for example. Even so they have on the label 12 years old. If for whatever reason they remove that from the labels, say it's still 12 years old, but they remove that from the labels, sales aren't going to do half as good as they do when there's that 12-year-old on the label. It's just one of those things that it matters to people. And once it matters, you can't go away from it because there's certain things in the world of whiskey where there's terms that matter, terms that don't matter. And to some people, those are terms that matter. And again, just like everything else, like going back to the whole sweets conversation, sometimes certain terms or certain styles matter to people in certain countries compared to other countries. And that's a video I think I want to make or need to make is just like kind of how I go about assessing if I'm going to like a bottle of whiskey based off of its stats. And I'm like talk about like what the stats are. That's something I need to, or I don't need to do. I don't need to do anything, but I want to do it because it took me a while to get into that phase where I know like what kind of age statement or roughly age of a blend I like to see in a whiskey, what kind of proof I like to see, what kind of finishings I like to see, where you can take a random whiskey you've never heard of, but if its stats are good, you know you're likely going to like it if you're willing to pay that money for it, and so on and so forth. Johnny Walker Green. Maybe I'll have to give that a try. I just tried the black, and the black was just very like, I mean, it also came in a screw top, so I don't put a lot of faith in anything that comes in a screw top. Well, it'd be like that sometimes. Green only has a few components to it, and it's nearly as watered with grain whiskey. Okay, maybe I won't do that. I don't know. Johnny Walker has never been that like standout-ish bottle of whiskey. Like if I'm looking for a budget scotch, I'm just going Glenmorangie. I like Glenmorangie. I think they're solid. I'm just going Glenmorangie. So I have a few Glendronach. That is enough. Their single cask prices jump the shark anyways. I feel like any scotch price is going to jump the shark. The whole idea of one country versus the other is exactly the issue. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why it's like you just got to trust the people who built a brand to just do it, because I'm not going to tell someone how to run their business. Like they can speak on like the import stuff, but the stuff that stays in Scotland, I feel like you need someone in that country who understands that market to make those kinds of decisions, because every market is very different. I mean, even state to state. I just recently made the video about value, the one I released yesterday, and I've gotten a few comments where like, "Oh, this is not value in my area because it's this much money, but this is actually a better value than it is in your area," and so on and so forth. So it's one of those things where it's geography really does have an impact of certain things in the mindset. And just like Hangen was saying, rye's not a huge thing in Arizona. Everyone likes sweetness, probably because sweetness is easier to drink than it is to drink spiciness things when it's hotter outside. And it's typically hotter out here than it is everywhere else in the United States, bar a few other, states. But it's one of those things. Geography matters, culture matters, and that all comes into play. There are much better choices than Glenmorangie. Wait, I'm talking for a budget bottle. And by Glenmorangie, I'm talking the Lasanta. I like the 12-year-old. But also I will say Compass Box, the what is it? Orchid House. That's a really good budget scotch. If there's another Compass Box you're referring to, please let me know. Douglas Leanig, haven't heard of them. Loch Lomond, also haven't heard of them. Is also a great scotch with low prices if you can find them. Yeah, Hanging, you need to come over so I can share some stuff with you. But yeah, I get it. It's rye's like one of those things. I go heavy into rye during the summer and springtime, or during the winter and springtime. But during like fall and like summer, I'm nothing but like a bourbon guy. Actually, this spring so far, I've been going really heavy into malts. But maybe that just might be because I'm falling in love with American single malts more now than I was last year. Orchid, not orchard. Orchid, not orchid. Sugar Kitty, you know me. Peter, I'll have to do that. That being said, we are an hour and 40 minutes into this live stream, and I got to wrap this SOB up. Thank you all for watching, hanging out. Thanks for all the suggestions with the, scotches and stuff. I really need to look out for a little bit more. To wrap all this up, I love my local craft distillery. That's why I work with them, or work for them, I guess. But, I work with them because I love the stuff that they do and I love the whiskey they produce. That's a really good rye. So if you live in the Arizona area, you're looking for a whiskey, this is a whiskey to get. I like this one the best. The rye is just really good. As far as Doc Swinsons go, I really like the Lamonte. I was impressed with the Tres Amigos just because I've never had a tequila finished bottle that is actually good. And this one is standout-ish. The port also really good, just not as excitingly like, wow, that was really impressive. It was pretty much on par with what I expected from 114 proof port finish whiskey. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of port anymore. And then the smoke on water, man, peated rye whiskey is just, maybe they're ahead of the curve, but I think it's a swing and a miss in my personal opinion. It's just a little wonky. But again, that is a wrap. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. If you've made it this far, do me that favor if you haven't done so already. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate the support. Cheers, y'all. I'll see you later. See y'all next week.